We're analysing the reasons to vote yes in Sunday's referendum on constitutional change with our guest Giovanni Guzzetta, Professor of Public Law at the Faculty of Law at Rome's University Tor Vergata and coordinator of the committee Together We Change. Thank you for being our guest.
Grazie a voi e buongiorno.
What's the main reason you're supporting the yes camp?
The main reason is that this is an extraordinary reform of a very beautiful constitution, which has some dated parts. Dated because when the Constitution was written, it was influenced by a very peculiar historic context. There was a very strong conflict between communism and anti-communism. The choice was for a weak government in which the majority couldn't rule without the help of the opposition.
In cui la maggioranza non potesse governare se non con l'aiuto dell'opposizione.
The great democracies, like the British one, were the model, but it was impossible to follow them. Today we can move forward. It's a matter of eliminating some anomalies which make Italy a totally eccentric country compared to great democracies. Unfortunately, in Italy, everything becomes a political controversy, and all campaigns tend to be used by political forces, like during an electoral campaign, and often the country is at stake.
Let's talk about Senate reform. Many jurists agree to cut out bicameralism, but they do not agree with the citizens no longer having the right to elect senators. Could this change take away the sovereignty of the people, as enshrined by the first article of the Constitution?
If this were true, we should say that Germany takes away people's sovereignty, France takes away people's sovereignty, Canada removes people's sovereignty. With such kind of structure, with a parliamentary form of government in which the first chamber gives confidence, no country in the world has a second elected chamber. The only exception is Spain, where members are partly directly elected and partly elected by provincial councils. The new model chosen by the Italian reform is a model that exists in the world, in Austria, Belgium, the Netherlands, for example. There is nothing subversive and certainly there is nothing undemocratic.
According to eminent constitutionalists, this reform will give excessive power to the government. Some talk about an authoritarian risk, a power that becomes oligarchic, an empty democracy. Why?
For me, it's difficult to see an authoritarian approach in this reform. In this reform, the Prime Minister cannot even dismiss ministers and certainly cannot dissolve Parliament. I really can't see this authoritarian drift. In Italy, authoritarianism is a very strong topic because history showed us that there have been periods of authoritarianism. This is a catchy topic which creates terror, anxiety. But everyone forgets the only one real episode in Italy which brought to the establishment of an authoritarian regime happened in 1922, when Mussolini was able to conquer the government of the country because at that time institutions were totally unable to govern and be efficient.
What's the weak point of this reform?
The weak point of this reform is that perhaps it didn't make all the steps that we expected, but overall it's a good reform. I'm deeply convinced about that.
Ringrazio il professore di diritto costituzionale Giovanni Guzzetta per essere stato nostro ospite. Grazie e buon proseguimento.
Grazie a voi.